My talk is on NG optimized directive, right? So this directive was launched in Angular 14. Everybody can hear me, right? Yes. So this directive was launched in Angular 14 as a developer preview, and then in Angular 15, it's now ready for production, right? I have shamelessly taken the print shot of Angular.io, and I've pasted what it means. So it says that it helps to improve, it helps to enforce best practices around images. So let us say if you have big images, right, which are loading in your pages, it helps to enforce those best practices. Okay, what exactly it does? So the first point, and again I have copy pasted shamelessly from the site. Right, so here if you look at these paragraphs, right, look at that the important word, largest contentful paint, right? So it actually revolves around that LCP. So what it says is that, so when your page loads, right, let us say you have 4 or 5 images, okay, big images. The user sees the first image, let's say first image, first content, which can be a div tag. That when that is seen, right, then we say you have performance. It is not, for example, many developers, what they do, they say that, okay, when the first byte reaches, not when the first byte reaches, when the first user experience is seen properly on the UI, right? So this LCP says that how quickly the main content loads and it's seen, around that the improvement is, okay? So what I've done out here, this is the code, right? And if you look at this code, what I've done in this code, I have a big for loop out here. This for loop actually goes and loads images, right? You can see it's a simple SRC tag. So what will happen, we'll have, so if you look at the collection at the back end, this is the collection at the back end. So it is loading 40 images, right? Everybody can see that? It is loading 40 images, and these 40 images will be seen one after another, right? So if I go out here very quickly, something like this will come up, right? So if you see over here, this is right. So something like this. Now, it is just 40 images. I'm thankful to my team DPM, who is into oil and gas. I've got the images from them. So if you see, when the user comes right to this site, first thing, what does that LCP means? This first image should be seen, right? Irrespective what the other images are. Down you can see there are many other images. But it is important that this first image should come as soon as possible. The user experience is matters, right? That's what it's, and when I'm saying not only image, it can be a div tag also, it can be some video also, right? But at this moment, this NG optimized only focuses around images, okay? So that's why I've just kept the image, okay? So that should come up first, right? Now you will say, okay, so how do we measure LCP, right? So definitely our developer tools out here. So this one here, I will just open up, I don't want to shake up this. So if you see, so I will go and I will go to the DevTools, I'll go to inspect, and I'll go to performance. I hope everybody is using developer tools out here, right? And specifically this performance tab out here, I'm clicking on it. So I'll just reload this. Now, in the DevTools, right, they have kept something called as Web Vitals. So these Web Vitals, measures LCP very nicely. So if you just focus out here, I know that there are lot many things out here. I will just uncheck this Web Vitals for now, and let's focus on this timings. You can see here there are many tabs, networks, timings, but our focus is on timings. And if I go out here, you can see this small thing here called as LCP. Right? First thing, when I move my mouse here, you can see it is highlighting this image. Can everyone see that? Means it says that this image, is the largest content paint, and this should load ASAP to give a good user experience, right? You can also see there are some other things out here like the FCP, which says that when did the first byte come in or something. That does not matter. At least personally, I feel this time to first byte, those are only, I don't know, must be for, to win against the IT team or win against the user, you can say that we are, but this one is the most important one, that what the user actually sees, right? So if you see out here, at this moment, if you see, I'm not using the NG direct, the performance tab, the performance tag, I'm just using SRC, right? And if you see out here, the LCP at this moment is whatever, so if I move, let me take up Web Vitals, You can see the small tabs out here. Remember, at this moment, it all depends also on the internet connection. So you can see it is showing something that your LCP is 1440 milliseconds. That's the LCP at this moment without using our NG-SRC tag, right? Now, when we start using this NG optimized thing, what is given, what happens, right? So remember I said it enforces best practices, right? So for example, I start here, I say, okay, that's easy. If you want to use NG optimize, you put this tag out here, you put this code out here, and then you can start using it. So I will go and I will comment this up, right? I'll comment this up, toggle inline comments, and let us start here. So first thing, you will import that module out there, and then let me go and make some mistakes out here. Let me do this. Something mistakes I'll make. I'll give a wrong width and height. Means not an optimal width and height. I will not set any priority. So you can see I'm using NG-SRC, but I did not set an optimal height, I did not set an optimal width, so I'm now expecting, from the directive to give me suggestions saying that, no, you did not do this, you did not do that, keep doing it, right? Also what I will do is, let me also, right? So I'll save all this and let us see what happens. Okay, I'll go back here, right? So first thing when I see here, okay, also what I have to do is, this is my problem. Actually, I'll explain what is this, but let me just remove this code out here. I'll explain this later on. Right, this code out there, okay. So you can see the image is distorted and so on, right? And let us see what happens in the inspect. So I go to inspect and let me go to console out here. You can see he has given me a lot of warnings out here saying that it says that it enforces for the best practices. So first thing, let us start one by one. It says that your height and width is not proper. Can everyone see that? Right? So it says that the intrinsic image height, image width is 8192, and yours you have supplied with something, right? So I'll just fix that first. So it starts giving me suggestions. So 819, my spec, okay. So 8192, I'll go here, I'll fix it. My mouse. So, okay, yeah, 8192 is the width. As you go around 55, you don't see things, huh? So, nahi dikhta hai. 4096 is the height. So fine, I'm happy, I fixed it. Now what more suggestions? Remember, if the image's height and width, if you're not using optimally, it will again lead to performance issues, right? There is something called as image shift which happens, and that again leads to performance issues, right? So I fixed something now what? Now again he gives me suggestions. He says, very nice, you have fixed that, right? But you have not given the priority. Can you see that? Now what should happen is that the first image should get the priority of loading. The rest of the images should not get the priority of loading. Everybody following? The first image should get. So he's saying that you are not given the priority, so I don't know what to do. So I'll say, okay, I'll go and I will mark this as font size. Yeah, font size, okay. Sorry, can everyone see this? Yeah, thank you. So, okay, I fixed, so it is giving me a suggestion. The first suggestion he gave me of the size, the height and width, I fixed it, right? The second suggestion is saying that if you want to really use this, then please give the priority. So I'll make a priority out here. I'll say, okay, let us give a priority. Right, so that is fixed. He again says, very nice, you have done that, but no, so you can see that all that HTML best practices, what happens internally is that it is all leading to HTML tags, actually, right? For example, when you say that this has to be loaded first, then he will go and he will say that the priority is high for the first image automatically, right? So this is good, I fixed it. Now he says that, okay, you did not use the link pre-connect. Now what is that? So what it means is that wherever your image is loaded, right, before even you go to that image, right, I will go and I will do the TLS connections, I will do the connections and I will keep ready for you, right? So fine, I will fix that as well. So I can go to my index HTML out here, and at this point my images are loaded on this image kit, which is one of the services, right, the image services. Good. So that is fixed, and now what? So There it runs, and good, right? Now, what this says that whatever is the first image, whichever is your first image or first image, only image, this does not take into account if you have a div tag as your LCP, or it does not take into account a video tag. At least, if you look at the definition they have said that improves image loading. So that is very specific. So now what should happen is, now let us go back now again to our performance tab out here, and I'll just go here, and again I can measure performance. Remember, I cannot guarantee at this moment, the internet of this hotel. So the LCP, if I measure without this and without that, it's possible that I can get a bad LCP out here. So there it is. You can see the LCP has increased, right? But believe me, it must be the internet, which is slow at this moment, right? But you can see I fix things out here, and that's the LCP which is improved out there, right? So that's what this NG optimized tag out here is. It helps you to enforce best practices, right? And specifically around LCP out here, we can again reiterate this thing out here. You can see automatically sets the fetching priority of the image automatically, right? Depends. For example, if your NG4 is showing different images as the first image, he will make him as the fetch priority top, right? Second, you can see lazy loading all the other images. So whatever are the down images which are not seen in the viewport will be lazy loaded by default, right? And you can see generating the all that hint. Second, very important, which I did not talk about it, one of our sponsors, I think, is Cloudinary, which actually hosts on CDN, right? So in case if you're using a CDN, for example, at this moment I'm using an ImageKit, which is also having a CDN, it will actually use the CDN optimization as well, right? Which I'm not showing here as a demo. Preventing layout shift. Remember, it gave me that hint saying your height and width is not proper. So that performance also he has taken care, right? So in this way, this tag, I'm sure that if your site is having images, and must be, if you can just put that NG optimized directive out there, it will help you, right? One thing which I did not cover here, which is SRC set, right? I hope that you will do an R&D around it. SRC set, basically what it does is, for example, if you want different heights of images, sometimes you want this height and that height, you can specify in the SRC set, and it can bring those kinds of, optimally can bring those image heights over there, right? So that's the simple talk from me. I know Angular 15 has many features, but I feel that this is one of the features. People talk about standalone components and this, right? But I feel that this is one of the features which can drastically improve your performance around images. Right? So thank you very much, and that's questphone.com. Thank you.